I did a lot of things after college, and one that made a big impression on me was because I wanted to get out and see the world, I traveled down to Louisiana and did manual labor for a while in the oil industry. And I remember for a while working in a bunkhouse with a bunch of manual laborers. Uh, and I found that quite a lot of the people who I worked with weren't educated. A few of them didn't speak English. And I found that when they calculated our pay, the bosses routinely made small mathematical errors in their own favor.
Imagine that.
Now, and that sort of gave me a sense of what happens in an economy where government isn't watching. Or here, you had the workers were disorganized and the bosses were cozy with the police. It just strikes me as what not to do. I kind of wish that there was a more aggressive regulatory agency there, but this was Louisiana, and so that wasn't the case. Anyway, I eventually went back to school and ended up getting both a PhD and a law degree at Yale, and worked as a law clerk for a judge for a year, and then went into teaching because I found that the academic work suited me more than being a lawyer, which was my other option. And so ever since then, this has been my life. I read and write things, and I teach law to people. And I've been interested in, I guess, since quite a lot of your listeners are libertarians, I should say, since my PhD is in political philosophy, I do work at the intersection of law and political philosophy. I try to argue to people who are interested in policy that political philosophy matters and that it's worth taking your time to learn some. You probably have some already, and it's worth trying to reflect about that. But the most fundamental thing that I've got in common with the libertarians is that I think people ought to be free to live the lives that they want, that they should decide for themselves what kinds of lives they are going to have. And that's what we should be aiming at in politics, to allow people to live as they like. That's simple. We disagree about whether big government has any role in bringing that about. I think that big government of the kind that we had in the United States in the late 20th century, to some extent still do, although it's somewhat chastised, is the way to deliver that. In the late 20th century, you had a world with very big government, massive regulatory apparatus, and people reasonably thought that their children's lives were going to be better than theirs were.